So welcome everyone to the 8th edition of GemGenève. We are delighted to welcome you here just 6 months after the last November edition. First of all, we will try to keep introductory speeches short to give you time to discover the show properly. So we propose you to ask your questions at the end of the press conference. As you may have read already in our press kit, this year's show will be the biggest in terms of exhibitors since the GemGenève adventure began. We'll be welcoming over 230 exhibitors in total for this edition, including partners, designers, and emerging talents. This represents over 200 dealers. More than just a figure, I'd like to suggest to keep in mind 2 points. Indeed, we are only welcoming 10 new companies out of these 200 dealers. This means a good rate of loyalty from our exhibitors. Since of the 200 dealers this edition, some 190 have already exhibited at the show for one or more editions. And the fact that we remain a small show, or a show on a human scale, which was the wish of our co-founders from the outset. So I'm going to hand over to Ronnie Tota and Thomas Ferber, both renowned gem and jewelry dealers and co-founders of GemGenève, to perhaps expand on this point and for a few words of welcome. So.
Hello, yeah, you understand me? When I have to write something and I'm in front of a white piece of paper,
Thomas.
Everything goes white in my head, and I don't know what to write. So it's the same here a little bit. I don't know exactly what to tell. There's so much to say, but I'm sure that you have many questions, and we are here to answer your questions. And so please go ahead, right?
Thank you very much. So I would begin in English and then a few words in French. First of all, thank you for all of you to be here. It's always the same thing that we are saying, but every time it comes from the heart, and also by seeing so many people, it really makes us warm inside. Je voulais juste remercier tout le monde. Je disais que c'est comme d'habitude, on remercie toujours d'être là, mais c'est à chaque fois, ça vient vraiment du cœur et là même des yeux, parce qu'effectivement vous êtes très nombreux et ça nous fait vraiment plaisir. So like Mathieu said about the rate of people coming back, it's really very interesting for us because it shows that what we did, people are feeling the same way. Means we did it thinking about them, the exhibitors, and we see that they respond to it. And they realize that even if there are some flaws in the concept or in the realization, they are really, they know and they are forgiving us for those little mistakes. Then what I would want to say is that myself, I'm working much less than before because I have been able to delegate. No, it's true. I have been able to delegate, which is not an easy task to delegate because you want to always to control. But I must say that all the team is absolutely great. We are a small team, but efficient, and really everybody is working with his heart, and this is the main thing. So, of course, we are ready to answer to questions, and that's it for the time being.
Thank you. So, as you may know, we have started to organize some exhibitions last November 2022. with first the Igor Carl Fabergé Foundation, celebrating the artwork of Fabergé. Then with the Art and History Museum of Geneva about automatons and music. And to finish with Natural Pearls last November with Chaumet. For this edition, we decided to work and highlight the world of opals, and we are very proud to inaugurate the Flames of Opalescence exhibition. This exhibition will highlight more than 100 pieces from partners, museum institutions, jewelry houses, and of course exhibitors. So we are very happy for having collaborated with, for a second time with the Geneva Museum of Art and History, with Piaget, with the exhibitors A. Winsue, Chris Price Opals, Emil Weiss Opals, Ernst Ferber, Ferber Collection, Imagem, Kreis Jewelry, Nicolas Toroni, Paul Fischer Inc., and Boris Chauviré as the scientific consultant of the project. So for a more detailed presentation about maybe the opal market and maybe few snapshots about exceptional pieces which they lend for the exhibitions, I'm very pleased to introduce you Jürgen Schutz, president of Emil Weiss Opals. Then Maurice Chauviré, holder of a doctorate in mineralogy and scientific contributor, specializing in opal at GeoGems, will give you some key points of scientific understanding about this amazing gemstone. So maybe Jürgen, you could try.
I'd like to welcome you too, and maybe a few words to our company. We are 120 years cutting and mining opals, and we addicted now 3 generations of actually 4 generations to opal, which I think is the most beautiful stone in the world. And you can see in the special exhibitions a few pieces what I collected during my life, and I think they are so special that maybe I believe you never will see again. So welcome and hope you enjoy.
Thank you. Maybe Boris, you could.
So hello everyone. So yeah, I'm more scientific part that you told. So I will just make some key point of what is interesting in opal, because the science behind is quite complicated, and this is one of the least gemstones that we don't know a lot about the formations, all of that. So thank you all to be here to discover this part of opal. So I will let the market to the specialist one, and I will be more the scientific part. So thank you and welcome to the great exhibitions. There is not a lot of exhibitions about opal in Europe, so it's a really good point to have that in Geneva. So I hope you will enjoy. That's why I begin the presentation. Okay. So we will take a small key point about the science behind opal. I don't know if you have. To pass it, sir? Okay. So as a scientist, the first thing that we really want to know is we come from the observations of what we know about opal. So the first thing that we see with an opal is the play of color. In the scientific definitions of a play of color is a pure spectral colors that evolve with light and observer orientations. So if you move an opal, you will see different color, different patterns, and all of that. And this is one of the most striking characteristics of opal. But not all opal have play of color. But since the antiquity, this is the first properties that was interesting the scientific. The oldest reference that we had about opal come from Pliny the Elder, so it's 77 before Common Era, so it's a long time ago, and he tried to make a descriptions of the play of color, and it was pretty difficult because here we have videos and photographs, but at this period we didn't have it. So he tried to make a description by comparison with other gemstones. So it tells that in opal we have a mixing of the best color that we have in other gemstones. So it's a mixing of emerald, ruby, and all of that. And this is the key point of the opal science at first. After that, during 20 centuries, we didn't know really the origins of play of color. During 20 centuries, we just have discovered that it's come from silica, so opal is mostly silica, so silicon and oxygens, and there is some water in it. But after that, we didn't know how the opal have the play of color. For that, we need to wait the mid of 20th century, so during the 60s, with electronic microscopes. With optical microscopes, so the common microscopes that we use in high school, we can't go any further in the small size. We can't see something that is smaller than few microns. It's kind of the limit. And with electron microscope, we can go further and see really smaller things. And in the 60s, two Australian researchers, just put some gem opal under an electronic microscope, and they see this kind of stuff. So this is the first time that we see the structure of an opal that is composed of small sphere of silica. Now we know that the spheres are from 30 nanometers to 8 microns. And in some cases, these spheres are the same size, and they do a nice array, like you can see here in the photograph on your left. You see that is really well arranged, and this is the origin of the play of color. There is a phenomena of diffractions. So diffraction is just an optical effect that comes from the fact that it's well arranged. And to have this play of color, we need to have very specific conditions. We need to have spheres of the same size. If you don't have the same size, you will not have play of color. And you need to be well arranged. And if you don't have the right size, you will not diffracting visible light. You will diffracting infrared or ultraviolets. But we are not pigeons or snakes, so we want to see visible light. So the diffraction is really, really precise. So some opal can have the play of color. We call that a precious or noble opal. And most of the time in nature it don't really work well, so you don't have spheres. They are deformed, they don't well arrange, they don't have the right size to diffract the light, so you won't have play of color. We call that a common opal. It's not because you don't have play of colors that is not nice, because some common opal can have a really good color that can be appreciated. Here you have, for example, a blue opal from Peru that have a very vibrant blue that can be also interesting for the gem market. What I told before is that opal is composed by silica, and hopefully for us, silica is the most abundant oxide that we have in the Earth's crust. So to find silica is not really complicated in the nature. But one of the things that silica is a very sociable oxide. It always combines with alumina, with potassium, with others to form other minerals that opal. So if we want opal, we need to purify the Earth's crust to have opal. That's why gem opal are really scarce in the nature, because we need to have a process to concentrate the silica. So the main producer now is Australia, Ethiopia. There is a lot also in Mexico and in Brazil. And I need to cite the Slovakia because it's one of the historical deposits in Europe. Most of the Europe opal come from Slovakia. And to form gem opal, it's always the same processes depending of independent, to the deposits. In Australia and in Ethiopia, it's exactly the same step. You need a source of silica. It's not complicated. As I said, silica is really widespread in the nature, so it's really easy to find some silica. We need to release it into water, so you need to dissolve the silica. This is one of the tricky parts, because if you dissolve your mineral, you will have other things than silica with others, and we want to have only silica, so we need to purify your water to have only silica, and after you need to precipitate it to have spheres. And this is also something that is not well understood in the nature. We can do that in a lab. It's not really complicated to do so. So there is some synthetic opals that are easy to make, but it's not exactly the same in nature, because you don't have exactly the same conditions. And this condition in nature is kind of unknown at this point. We know a little, but not more. So this is where the science is still going. And one of the things that is interesting is that since 2008, we have good evidence that we have opaline silica on Mars. What I call opaline silica is something that is really close to opal. As a scientist, I can't say that is opal for sure, because we don't have enough data to be sure that is purely opal, but most of it have exactly the same features with infrared and all the spectroscopy that is really close to opal. And opal now is one of the windows that we use as a scientist to have the idea of how water have been flowed on Mars a few billion years ago. This is one of the evidence of they have water on Mars, and we use it for that. And maybe a few centuries, if I may dream about it, we can have some opal from Mars in a few centuries. So thank you for your attention, and I think that the question will be later.
Later, yes. Okay. Thank you. So GemGenève is of course a commercial and business event, but it's as well a show where all the panel of the jury world is represented and supported, from dealers to museums, from authors, media partners to métiers d'art, from students to contemporary designers and exceptional artists. Close to the exhibition space, you will discover two amazing spaces. The New Designers and Emerging Talent space, strictly curated by Nadège Tota, gemstones and jewelry dealers, board member and co-founder of GemGenève. Furthermore, you will discover the work of Alicia Stanska, amazing abroad artist, specifically invited to present her work Equilibrium of Powers, the work of a lifetime, for the first edition of a project that we called Masterpiece. So maybe Nadège?
Bonjour tout le monde. Du coup, je vais faire en français. Alors, je m'occupe effectivement de cet espace du village des designers avec les talents émergents et les nouveaux designers. Dans cet espace, nous avons, comme l'a dit Mathieu, donc ces deux espaces-là, ainsi que la fondation de Strong and Precious, qui est déjà venue plusieurs éditions, qui est composée de designers ukrainiens, qui a ouvert la voie aux designers arméniens. Donc nous avons un nouveau stand cette année, qui sont des designers qui ont été sélectionnés par l'AJA, qui est l'Armenian Jewelers Association, que je vous laisserai découvrir. Lorsqu'on me demande comment est-ce que je choisis les designers, je suis un peu embêtée parce que je dis que je n'ai pas de critères. Et on m'a répondu, ne pas avoir de critères est un critère. Alors, ça commence à être compliqué, je me suis dit, je ne peux pas répondre ça à tous les journalistes. Donc je me suis un petit peu posé des questions, en me disant finalement, comment est-ce que je choisis ces designers? Je ne cherche pas la perfection dans les pièces, notamment pour les talents émergents, mais je cherche plus l'histoire qui se cache derrière chacune de ces pièces. Parce qu'une pièce, on peut la trouver jolie, passer à côté et dire oui, c'est chouette. Et on commence à discuter avec le designer et on se rend compte qu'il y a toute une dimension qui inclut, où le designer finalement intègre son histoire personnelle. Et là, la pièce prend une autre dimension et devient encore plus belle. Une pièce peut être un petit peu dérangeante, on peut se demander pourquoi, c'est peut-être un choix un petit peu bizarre. Et finalement, voilà, en discutant avec eux, on arrive à trouver toute la beauté d'une pièce. Comme par exemple, donc je vais commencer avec les talents émergents. Jacqueline Powers, c'est résulte d'un duo un petit peu étonnant de Corinna Tawil, une jeune designer, et Vince Gerardis, qui est un producteur de télé d'Hollywood, de séries télévisées. Je vous laisserai lui poser la question, savoir ce qu'il a produit, comme je suis sûre que vous connaissez. Et son père était diamantaire et il a décidé de revenir un petit peu à ses sources. Donc il s'est associé à cette jeune designer pour créer des bijoux qui sont assez lisses, toujours avec des pierres de très haute qualité, d'où de par le fait que justement il a toujours baigné dans les pierres, et qui associent des couleurs pas très usités, comme le brun ou le gris. Nous avons également William Llewellyn Griffiths, qui a été marqué par un accident de voiture durant sa trentaine, qui a passé beaucoup de temps à l'hôpital et qui finalement là a commencé à être inspiré et à trouver justement un petit peu sa voix. Donc vous allez retrouver des bijoux un petit peu cathédrales, un petit peu avec une influence baroque. Et il y a aussi des petits mécanismes. Donc, comme vous pouvez voir sur ce petit pendentif, c'est un petit carrousel et vous pouvez tourner la manivelle et les petits chevaux tournent. Shavar Chakobian est un designer arménien qui a fait sa première exposition l'année passée à GemGenève, en novembre. Il revient aujourd'hui avec une toute nouvelle collection où il mêle, alors les formes sont toujours très géométriques et il a une identité déjà qui est très très marquée. Et ce qui est marrant, c'est que du coup, ces pièces qui sont un petit peu justement très spéciales et des fois en forme un petit peu de vaisseaux spatiaux, contrastent avec sa personnalité très discrète. Donc on voit qu'il met tout dans ses bijoux. Nous avons ensuite Villa Milano, qui est issue d'une famille de marchands depuis déjà 5 générations. Elle a décidé justement de reprendre le savoir-faire de la maison et de remettre un petit peu la marque finalement au goût du jour. Donc, notamment avec des boutons de manchette qu'elle va justement essayer de moderniser. Assoléon a participé à GemGenève l'année passée en mai, et c'était la première fois qu'il sortait de Chine. Il a une façon assez spéciale de travailler, c'est-à-dire qu'il a été surnommé le prince du titane en Chine. Quand il commence à travailler une pièce, il ne sait pas du tout ce qu'il va faire. C'est-à-dire qu'il a ses pierres et il commence à les assembler. Et à la fin, c'est comme ça qu'il ne sait pas du tout de quoi il parle, il ne sait pas du tout ce que ça va donner à la fin. Et du coup, il a décidé pendant une année de travailler et de faire une réelle nouvelle collection sur la nature. La deuxième catégorie de designers qui sont représentés sont les nouveaux designers. Awin Siu était là également l'année passée, revient avec ses créations très acidulées, très pop. Elle est assez discrète et finalement tous ces bijoux colorés comme ça nous replongent en enfance. Elle est illustratrice à la base de livres pour enfants. Et on retrouve du coup les bonbons, les petites sucettes. Diva Jules, qui nous revient cette année encore, est un designer indien dont tous les bijoux sont en mouvement. C'est-à-dire que vous avez du tremblant sur toutes les parties, sur tous les bijoux, et ce brille de mille feux. La première fois que Diva Jules m'a contactée, il m'a dit j'ai quelque chose de super spécial. Et je me suis dit bon, effectivement, alors présente pas ton projet. Il a dit écoute, je vais te faire une chaussure, un bijou de chaussure. Et c'est comme ça qu'il a pu rentrer du coup dans GemGenève la première fois, et il s'est surpassé d'édition en édition, et j'ai hâte de découvrir toute cette nouvelle proposition. Chongho Art Jewelry est un designer chinois très talentueux qui est spécialisé dans l'émail. C'est est-ce qu'on dit master enameler peut-être, qui travaille notamment avec le plique à jour et le titane aussi. Diana Zheng est une nouvelle designer de Chine, autodidacte, dont les pièces sont assez imposantes, impressionnantes, et qui attirent l'œil, et qui contraste avec sa personnalité discrète, et les pierres utilisées sont toujours également de très haute qualité. Et nous avons Estelle Lagarde, qui avait participé à GemGenève en tant que gouacheuse. Et je me rappellerai toujours le jour où elle est arrivée au bureau avec son book et les dessins qu'elle avait réalisés notamment pour de grandes maisons, les gouachés, pardon. Et à la fin, donc il y avait quelques pages vides, et à la fin, je vois un dessin, un gouaché. Et je me dis, mais waouh, ça c'est génial. Donc je lui pose la question. Je lui dis, mais qu'est-ce que c'est? Elle me dit ça, un jour, je réaliserai ces pièces, ça c'est ma collection. C'est là. Nous avons donc dans ce village des designers, comme l'a dit Mathieu, une nouvelle section qui s'appelle Masterpiece, qui sera donc dédiée à une œuvre monumentale pour alliant le savoir-faire et bien sûr avec un rapport avec la joaillerie. C'est grâce à Alicia Stenska finalement que nous avons eu cette idée avec sa magnifique robe et je vais lui passer le micro du coup. Merci.
Hello, everybody, everyone. I'm waiting for my slides, but they are coming. So as usually, I wrote a lot at home, but when I'm sitting here, I decided to change it a little bit when I was hearing everybody, and I decided not to read a lot. I'm going to tell what I wanted to tell you. So first of all, I would like to take the opportunity to thank both families, Faber and Tota, for the opportunity to be here. For me, it's a very great honor to be here with you all. I know that later on you can ask a lot of questions, and of course I invite you to our stand. But first of all, I would like to share with you the wisdom which I've heard a few months ago in the movie which I fall in love, Blue Eye Samurai. Because when I've heard that wisdom, I said to myself that this is wisdom about my life also. So I didn't change the slide. Where should I do it? It's here? Yes. So they say that there are 4 paths through the world. The path of the farmer, the craftsman, merchant, and warrior. Each can lead to greatness. It doesn't matter which one, as long as we find our own. If you cannot touch the greatness, just as you cannot swallow the sun, you can help the greatness. I choose the path of a craftsman. And thanks to it, I can help warriors and merchants. My name is Alicia Stenska. I'm embroidery master. I started embroidery when I was about 6 years old. It was passion, but also it was a method to calm down super active child, which I was when I was very, very young. I am also a founder of a brand, Stanska. It's a family brand where we push the boundaries of hand embroidery to the new technologies. And also the foundation, the president of the Foundation for the Promotion Artists and Craft, and what is very important for me, an activist for the protection of children's rights. Okay. I also wanted to tell you about a movie, Pollyanna, which I saw when I was about 10 years old. This was a movie from the 50s. It was an American movie, which has a very big impact for me since today. It was about a small girl who changes the world around her thanks to her attitude and cheerfulness. The scene in which the girl watches the light shed on the wall through the chandelier crystal made me want to surround me and myself and all people around me with the magic of the crystal. I have been training and developing techniques of embroidery by myself, also in Paris in Les Arches. I connected with Homo Faber from Michelangelo Foundation from Switzerland. And I also have many exhibitions in Poland, England, Spain, Italy, France, and German. And what is very important, in addition to creating beautiful objects and work, I also give in my country lectures about the role of craftsmanship in luxury. Today, after many years of experience, as you can see on the slide, I have my own family brand where I work with people who I love the most. And this family brand led me to initiate the project that today inaugurates the masterpiece space at GemGenève. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the coming days, you will witness the birth of a lifelong project, a project and collection that I called Collection of Seven. Collection of Seven is the world's first collection of haute couture sculptures designed and embroidered by me for over 12 years, with following the old rules of haute couture creations. However, they are not only the sculptures. These are, above all, works of art that give life and hope. These are projects which profits will be used to build an international educational and criminological platform aimed at preventing domestic violence against children. This is why all the muses that guided me creating a collection of seven are very important. Characters from the past and the present, personalities whose lives can inspire generation. The first of the sculpture that you have the opportunity to see today is Equilibrium of Powers, inspired by the charity for children, education above all, the Queen of Qatar, Sheikha bin Nasser. A black and gold creation embroidered with over 110,000 crystals from Swarovski, a symbol of courage, individualism, life, energy, and the sun. This project has been developed for over 3 years and begins series scheduled to end at 2036. The second for the collection will be a red and gold armor, which is inspired by the life and code of Samurai Musashi Miyamoto. However, today, may Equilibrium of Powers give us light and joy. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a beautiful time at GemGenève.
Thank you very much for these words. Finally, a few words about the cultural program. After having welcomed Jean-Marc Mesvelt when he was the CEO of Chaumet last November, we are very proud to welcome this year Lucia Silvestri, Jury Creative Director of Bulgaria, as the main participant of our Grand Entretien session tomorrow, in discussion with Amanda Triossi, author and jury historian. Links with cultural institutions are being developed, as well as we will welcome Anne Dion Tenenbaum, Chief Curator of the Department of Decorative Arts of the Louvre Museum, Hélène Moles-Frofs, Senior Jury Curator of the V&A in London, and Robin Hansen, Curator specializing in minerals and gemstones at the UK's Natural History Museum. All of them for both a talk and a book signing session. Other topics will be discussed during the show, such as the diamonds market, the cabochon history, the science of cutting process, the challenge of the jury design profession, and also 2 panel discussions about opals, market and trends on one side, and history and science on the other side. This cultural program is realized thanks to friends of GemGenève and new talented speakers. We really thank them for their support and trust. Finally, in addition to the métier d'art and the special surprise that we are developing with them during and for the show, to the Donat Joule and GemGenève project, for which we will you will discover for the first for which we will welcome 2 Italian schools, and to the Aide and Grand Théâtre de Genève project, You will discover for the first time a photo micrography exhibition of gemstones inclusions realized with the students of the Institut de Bijouterie de Saumur and of the Société Royale Belge de Gémologie. All visitors, partners, online followers are welcome to vote for their favorite project online and on site, and an award ceremony will be held on Saturday. So as you understood, it's very important for GemGenève to develop strong projects and mentorships with jury schools, young designers, and the future of the jury world. In a few words, create connections between past, present, and future. Maybe just a few points about the press kit that you just received. We made some change in the press kit. We had a cancellation of the Meet the Jewel Setter session with Mehdi Bellaret, but we are very happy to welcome Émeric Pittet to introduce the jewel setter profession to the visitors on next Saturday and Sunday. And we will welcome as well Fabienne Rebaud as the moderator of the last panel discussion about opals on Sunday. And she will do a book signing session as well on Saturday, just a few precise. Do you have some questions, maybe? Yeah.
Hello, good morning, and my name is Richa. I'm from Singapore, and I had a quick question for Ronnie and Thomas. And I'm sure this is a question you've been asked before, so I apologize. But looking ahead, we're in May 2024. Looking ahead, what is the outlook? What is the market outlook that, in your view, for colored stones, for diamonds, and for jewelry, given everything that's happening on planet Earth at the moment? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. The answer, in fact, is not an easy one to give, but it's always almost the same thing. It means that except diamonds, which are for the time being in a weak, let's say, weak point, for the rest of the trade, I think the market is good for the high ends. Colored stones are doing well or very well. And for the jewelry, all the signed pieces, all the very fine pieces, even if they are not signed, are doing good. And it's quite difficult to find the goods nowadays. So this is the point of view that I have, and I see if Thomas.
Hello, yes. Well, I agree with Ronnie. I think we have past years were very good years for us, for the trade in general, for colored stones. Diamonds at the moment are going through a difficult period, but it's happened many times before. I remember 1980, there was a diamond crisis. It's, as usual, it goes up and down. The diamond business, I remember 1980s, it's an up and down, volatile. It can be volatile. I still believe in beautiful diamonds as much as I believe in beautiful colored stones and, of course, in beautiful jewelry. And last not least, in our trade in general, which I think Ronnie and myself, we can be happy to say that there's a good representation of the whole spectrum of the jewelry trade which is represented here. Anyway, if you have any questions, we're ready.
David Ruff from Jewelry Outlook. Just following up with David Brown from Jewellery Outlook. Just following up on Risha's question, one of the key features about the market so far this year have been a succession of record high gold prices. Gold prices were over $2,400 an ounce on the 12th of April after hitting a series of succession, a series of all-time high prices. How is this affecting the high end of the jewellery and gemstones market, the very, very strong gold prices?
Well, I think that for the very high end, it doesn't really affect the market of the stones, because when you have a stone of 100,000 or over, the mounting, even if it's a super necklace, quite difficult to make, the price of the gold, the influence of the price of the gold, in my opinion, is not going to be really that big. When you have a very as I said, a necklace, you would have the work already that makes the most value and not the gold. This is what I think.
I think, excuse me, I think the gold price reflects at the moment a kind of uncertainty, which it has done traditionally over the past centuries. And for me, I think a strong gold price is also a good sign for the jewelry market and for precious stones in general, because it's small values on a very compact volume.
Kira Brenzinger from Dreams Magazine, Paris. It's a question for Nadège. I see in the designer room you have many Chinese designers. Are you working with an association and with China or fair? Or I'm just surprised that there is so many, and why not Japanese, Koreans, and what do you think? They have a special view of jewelry?
Thank you, Kira. You're right. There are several Chinese designers this time. The first one that we welcomed was I think last year. No, I think there are many good designers everywhere. This is for sure. Maybe the social media, because I also source them on the social media. So I think it's a hazard. So no, we are not working with an association, and it's also word to mouth. Wallis Hong was the first one, and then he brought also Asoleon, and I think that it was kind of like the process. So no, but now we have the Armenian designers with the association. So I hope that it will bring more and more designers from everywhere.
Hi, this is Laura Astrologo. I have some questions for the Opal exhibition. So first, I would like to ask Mathieu the criteria for choosing the pieces, because this exhibition is unique. The opal is a mysterious stone, and we know that in the past there were a lot of superstitions, but these superstitions were surpassed already in the 19th century, because as you told, Josephine Beauharnais loved a lot the opals, also the Queen Victoria. So there is a great dialogue between the 19th century, where this stone was so loved, and today, because you choose a lot of artists such as Gilbert
Albert.
Gilbert Albert, Awin Siu, and also others. So I would like to know your criteria for choosing the past pieces in comparison with the modern ones.
It was a collaboration with our different partners, like with the Geneva Museum of Art and History, and with Piaget, and of course with with our exhibitors. The first idea was to exhibit as we did natural pearls in last November. It was to highlight opals. Why not opals compared to other ones? One point was super interesting compared to like all the superstitious spirit linked to the opals. It was more. I was more focused on the color explosions, and that brings like something like very contemporary in the mind of the gemstones, and it's this way that I worked to create like this exhibition with a more like contemporary art way. And the other point was when it was Brice Deck who showed me some from Imagem, who showed me some photographies of opals, like in zoom, in close-up. I was like super impressed by like the painting effect and the colors that you could see on the opals. So it was from that the idea was to link the opals with different other art supports, such as paintings, photographies, digital artwork as well, with contemporary art artists from Switzerland. And so this was the idea of this exhibition.
And in fact, I am Italian, and there is a great interesting from the part of Italians about this exhibition. And for this reason, I also wrote an article on Rob Report Italy, and for this reason, I would like to ask both of you another point of view as for this exhibition, the opal. So the opal is a mysterious gem, there are superstitions, but today is also à la page. So I'd like to know how is the market about the opals, and is it true that now there is a fashion about opals? Are they à la page or not?
Yeah, our problem is more to find the material, and I do not know if you know the situation in Australia, but a lot of young people left the field. The old miners dying out, so basically we have nobody who is looking for opal. That's our biggest problem. So if you find a nice opal, it's not so difficult to sell, but it's extremely difficult to find nice material. I just spent a month in Australia, and I visited basically every person who is mining there, and there is basically no or nearly no production. Unfortunately, in my time when I was there, Queensland was flooded, so there was no way to enter Queensland because all the roads are blocked and you couldn't go. So we do not only have the problem of the manpower, we have problem of the nature too. Australia is always too hot, too cool, too much wet, no rain, and but it's Australia.
So I understand this, and I remember also nice collections by Vernier. I don't know if there is some piece in
Just
the
one.
exhibition, and I imagine that now is very rare to mine these stones. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, is it true I read that opal miners sometimes build like a little apartment underground in Australia, and they live there for quite a long while?
Yeah, that's what we call the dugouts. It's old mines. They make beautiful homes out of it, but everybody think, oh, these poor miners, they have to live underground. But it's exactly opposite. Only a miner who finds a lot of material has the money to build a dugout. And the dugout has a big advantage. In the summertime, it's cool, and in the wintertime, it's nice and warm. So you have basically 0 energy costs. And it's really great. It's strange when you live there the first time because it's so quiet that you have problems to sleep the first 2 or 3 nights. Because it's really, you would not believe how quiet it is. You think you're dead. But after a few days, you are used to it and you can sleep very well.
Hello, I'm Maya from the Carrot Soup from London. I must say thank you so much to all the panelists and congratulations on the 8th edition. I came here for the debut and you've come so far in all of these editions. My question is about you mentioned earlier, Risha, about the colored stones. So many stones come from Zambia, Namibia, Mozambique, South Africa. Do you think you'll have any designers from Southern Africa perhaps represented here?
I wish. No, actually, no, we don't. I don't know. I don't know what to say now. I hope so. Please, we have to speak about it, because really, I have, people said that there are many designers everywhere, but then it's not so easy to find them. And what I realized last year is that many of the emerging talent who were there didn't think that they were legitimate. Meaning, when they came, they say, Nadej, do you really think that I am at the right place? Because look at all these designers; they are so talented, and I'm not sure that I'm good enough. And being also with all the exhibitors, the merchants, the dealers, they really think that they were not in the right place. But at the end of the 5 days, they told me, you know what, this is really what I want to do, because I feel that, okay, now I know by discussing with the visitors, with the journalists, with also the exhibitors, they realized that they were doing good, and they really they became more self-confident, and that's so that's why it's important, I think, to speak about that space, because we want it to be like even bigger, and so if you know any of the designers, please give my email address.
I have a question. My name is Inge Leutscher from Excellence International. I see you have all these wonderful designers, and they are mostly contemporary designers. Would you ever think about bringing some ethnic, sort of more local designers? I work a lot with Botswana, and there are wonderful designers there who are working with the diamonds and bringing the local craftsmanship. Would that be an idea maybe in the future?
Actually, thank you for your question, because that's a very good question. Last year, that's exactly what I wanted to do. But the thing is that I didn't have enough. So, they were thinking, they didn't know what was exactly GemGenève. So I tried to explain, and once again, they didn't feel that it's the right place, because maybe they think that it's too high level. And so I had like two designers, but it was not enough to make one space dedicated to the ethnical jewelry. But yes, it's on the pipeline. Thank you.
A follow-up question about the market for opals. I mean, what types of opals are most sought after in the market? I mean, is it fire opals or black opals? And how important also is the origin of the opals? I mean, are, say, Ethiopian opals particularly sought after? And just one last question about the market. The drugs conflict in Mexico, is that creating greater supply tightness in Mexican opals?
the question is.
What's hot and what's less hot in opals?
I think the Ethiopian opal is not really affecting the Mexican opal. When it came first to the market, of course, we had big problems with Australian opal because it was about 10% of the prices of the Australian opal. But then the market showed that Ethiopian opal causes a lot of problems. The major problem is that after some time, it loses the play of color. And slowly, everybody learning it. We warned them before because we made some tests, and we found out pretty early. And so we never touched it. I was in Ethiopia, basically one of the first guys, and had a chance to be the sole distributor from Ethiopian government. But after testing the opal, we refused because we know there's a lot of suspicion in the market about opal. And we do not work 100 years to create a good name for opal and then destroy it and selling Ethiopian opal. But now the market learned themselves, and that it is a problem, opal. So we never touched it. We stay with the opal we know, we stay with the mines we know, and we can basically guarantee for the opal we sell. So we have a really good confidence about the opal. So.
And just lastly, at this show at GemGenève, what types of opals would you say would likely be to be in most demand? You know, which are the rarest and most exquisite and fabulous opals?
Yeah, this question I can answer you at the end of the show. Because basically we sell all type of opals. It's a little bit different. If you go to China, we sell more black opals because of the image. The Chinese want whatever is expensive, and black opal is the most expensive one. If we have an exceptional fire opal, we can sell it too. But it is really, there is no rule. If you go to the States, we have a lot of designers, they use the boulder opal because it has the same look as a black opal, but it's less expensive. So the kind of jewelry they can make is a fraction of the black opal jewelry. And another big market is this faceted fire opal because it's the only orange color or red color in nature which is available. So there is basically no rule. And there is a renaissance of the light opal, which is the most popular opal. And since the people learned about Ethiopian opal, they're coming back to the Australian light opal. So there is basically no rule. There is a market for every type of opal.
Sorry, a follow-up question based on your answer regarding Ethiopian opals. Is the issue with the opals where it's losing its play of color related more to humidity? Or is it just the environmental factors are not contributing towards that loss of color?
Okay, the first problem with Ethiopian opal is that a lot of the material cracks during the cutting process. But what stays stable is okay as long as you keep it away from moisture. If you put it in water, the play of color disappears. Everybody say, yeah, the play of color comes back. But every time the play of color comes back is a little bit less than before. So if it comes too often in connection with water, the play of color disappears completely. And why this is, I cannot answer. Maybe you have the answer for it. But I really don't know. Because normally the opal love moisture and water. Except Ethiopian opal. It's exactly opposite.
If I can just add something about the scientific that we know, the science that we know about the instability of opal. As I said, the opal is silica in water, and you said the water can be lost during the drying of the opal. It's the case of almost all opals that we observe in a lab. And the things that the Ethiopian opal are more or less unstable than the Australian opal is kind of difficult in the scientific way to prove. For one thing, that the process between the mining in Ethiopia and the process of mining in Australia is not exactly the same. And in Ethiopia, they sell most of the stone really rapidly. What they want is to sell the stone to have the money for living and all of that. In Australia, it's quite different because the market is more stable. It depends.
They sell it as fast as they dig it out. The same. Miners never have money.
Yeah.
Miners are broke. So
yeah.
This situation is same.
But not all of the place in Australia. I have visited Australia a few months ago with some of the miners just keep some Opal for few years, maybe few months.
Maybe for special buyers.
Yeah, maybe.
Do not keep it because, as I said, they're all broke and
Yeah.
they need the money. They're all desperate, so they need the money, and they said they dig it out and have to sell it immediately. The only thing what I have to sell when we buy opal, we keep it for several years. Normally we keep it at least 5-6 years to make sure, but nothing is stable. Nothing will happen. But in my career, I learned one thing: the stability depends on the mine you dig it out. It is really not. It is really, you have good fields and you have bad fields. And if you go to a bad field, opal will crack. It maybe is 6 months or 12 months or 2 years or 5 years. But if the mine is really stable, probably it stays for as long as you stay.
On the stability, most of I think that you are more in the minor part, and I'm more on the structural part, because as we know at this point, we can predict. We don't really predict, but we have new ways to try to predict if an opal will crack or not. And it's come from the fact that the water is not incorporated in the same way in opal, according to the structure and the porosity. So I think that the bad field and the good field will also have an impact of this structure and the water incorporation. I think that is linked properly. And
if I may suggest,
yeah.
Maybe we could develop this discussion during the two panel discussion about opals,
You're
and
right.
maybe work with other questions. Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right.
Do you have some? Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Zaran from Geneva Times. Given the unprecedented challenges faced by the global gem and jewelry industry over the past couple of years, what new trends and innovation can visitors accept to see this GemGenève show?
So, thank you for the question. I see that there is not a lot of people who are ready to answer. The innovation, it's not really an innovation. I think the visitors who are coming to GemGenève, they want, it's okay, they want to see an event and not only a trade show. So the innovation, well, you would see it here with the designers, you would see it near the lounge with all the métiers d'art, and then with the conferences. I think those are the innovations. We are not innovating, we are just trying to present something that is not really very well known, like the opals this time, like the pearls before. So it's not innovation, but it's just interesting topics, and not really topics which in French we would call bateau. I don't know, it's like a boat, I don't know how you call it, which is a very common thing. So we are trying just to be a little bit different, and I think we succeed in this. But innovation, I don't know if there is really innovation.
I would say that maybe it's more about like the involvement that we bring into the projects. We are not just like square meter sailors for partners or for museums or whatever. It's we work with them, with the partners, like from the beginning until the end, until their presentation at the exhibition. So maybe it's this that we could call innovation for GemGenève. An example, maybe it's the link that Nadej creates with all the designers. It's like not just commercial links, but really like strong relationship. It could be the same thing with, for example, with the schools. With our partner school, we don't just give them, okay, we have a space and please exhibit. No, we have workshop during all the year long with the student to create them the projects, and then we exhibit the project that they did during the scholarship here, sorry, at the GemGenève show. So I think this is like this process that we may call innovation, if I may.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a last question for the organizers. I'm here.
Yeah, thank you.
So we all know that the natural diamonds are suffering today because of the lab-grown diamonds. What is your view, and how is GemGenève positioning themselves towards the lab-grown? Are you seeing it like a fake Hermes bag or a fake Chanel bag? No, I would just like to know what you think about it, and how is your stand, and how would you like to promote natural diamonds more? Thank you.
Well, thank you. For us, well, I would speak for me, but I'm sure that Thomas would share this point of view. I'm not sure that if the diamond market is going down, it's because of the lab-grown diamond. This is my own opinion. You know, when people are seeing movements up and down, you would always find people who would say, the reason is because of that. And when they see the opposite, let's say if it goes up, what people are going to say? They're going to say because the lab-grown diamonds are not selling anymore. The only thing we could see, it's not my field, it's not the field of the stones for me, the lab-grown diamond, but I receive from time to time people who are sending me, are you interested in lab-grown diamonds? And in the beginning, when it arrived, I don't remember when, 2 years ago maybe, or in the beginning, they were saying, oh, the lab-grown diamonds are exactly like diamonds, and they are 30% less than in price than the natural diamonds. And now we receive people who are sending us, we are selling at 0.99, a discount of 99.12%. So I don't think it means I have no idea in in lab-grown diamonds, like I have no ideas in potatoes or something else, because it's not at all our field. And I'm almost sure that we would not let people who are selling lab-grown diamonds, inside. If there is some here, lab-grown diamonds maybe, but an exhibitor who would sell openly a lab-grown diamond would not have his place here because it doesn't belong to the market we are representing.
My experience is that people want the real thing. As long as we can distinguish between lab-grown or synthetic or whatever and the natural diamonds, I think there will be a natural diamond market. I think it was in the past century, suddenly in the Valley, they invented synthetic rubies, which were much more beautiful and perfect than the natural ones. But synthetic rubies you can buy by kilo, and natural rubies is one of the most precious things that exist. And I think this is what will happen. As long as we can distinguish, people will want the real thing. They will want a real Rembrandt and not a copy.
Maybe one last question, and we could. So I think we can close the press conference. Thank you very much for having attending, and you have a press flash just behind you. Thank you very much.